Michael Penix Jr. is officially the #1 QB in Atlanta. The second-year man out of Washington started 3 games for the Falcons to close out last season after Kirk Cousins' hot start faded. A few of Penix's draft mates were cast as leading men from the get-go and had rookie moments worthy of the big screen. But will their sequels be as good as the original? Always the critic, Colin Cowherd, has thoughts.
You know, everybody loves a blockbuster. But what happens when it's a sequel? Expectations rise, criticism gets a little harsher. No more rookie excuses. Sequels are hard. The movie critics are going to bring the heat.
Enjoy the show.
Bo Nix, he actually shocked some people out of the gate, but he had Sean Payton, a top 10 offensive line. Dependable receiver, Cortland Sutton, but here's his issue. It's now maybe the best coached division in football by a long shot. No easy wins for Bo Nix in Denver. 1 popcorn, please. Caleb Williams, let's just say this flight had some turbulence. He's now on his 3rd coach in his 2nd year. Now, he's got some horsepower, but bro, stop holding the ball and let it rip. Now, this guy is special. I've never seen a rookie quarterback this good. The poise, the maturity, and the great ones don't have sophomore slumps. Mahomes didn't, Burrow didn't. Jayden Daniels Part 2 is a sequel I want to watch. Well, so much for the previews. Let's sit back and enjoy this movie.
Thank you so much, Colin. So let's keep this second-year quarterbacks conversation going. Charles, I want to start with you. Jayden Daniels, will we see a regression or a progression? Because he set the bar so high. I don't know where you go from here other than the Super Bowl for him.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be a progression. You know, I think when we talked about what he talked about earlier, that we were talking about this kid having the best rookie season that we've ever seen for a rookie. He made it to the championship game. He set records in completion percentages and rushing yards. Like, how much further can he go? I think the thing for him is, how do you make a guy like him better as you start bringing in pieces around him to build out your team? You bring in a Laramie Tunsil on the left side of that line to help protect him. You bring in a Deebo Samuels, who's a Swiss Army knife who can get you out of jams, breaking tackles, and keeping drives alive. So for me, Jayden Daniels has already shown us his bar is so high. Yeah. Like, where else can he go but to the Super Bowl? So I think the progression is there because they're starting to build out that roster around him as well.
Well, some would say then because the bar was set so high, will there be any kind of regression? Do you think so, Jules?
I think progression for sure. Jayden Daniels was 20 for 23 on 4th down, and these weren't like 4th and 1s. These are impact, gotta-have-it plays. He seemed to thrive in that. You could see his progression all last year. Didn't make the same mistakes twice. Him and Cliff Kingsbury being in the same system in an off season, I think he's going to progress.
Glaze, what do you got for this?
I talked to Dan Quinn about this past week, and he said, look, the reason why we drafted him in the first place is because of that work ethic. But last year as a rookie, you're just hoping to get everything right. He said this year it's pretty cool to see how much he's working with all these different receivers and tight ends, saying not just, hey, I'm going to throw an 8-yard out here. I'm going to throw an 8-yard out, and I'm going to throw it in this route on your back shoulder. These tendencies, which Jules, you work with a quarterback who helped out with some tendencies too.
A lot of tendencies there, buddy.
Yeah, but the moment never looked too big for him. No. Another quarterback that showed a lot of poise, Bo Nix. He put up the 2nd most passing touchdowns by a rookie in NFL history. So, Jules, what will you see him do this year? Do you see progression or regression from him?
I think progression also. I mean, he had 29 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his last 14 weeks. Started real shaky, but having Sean Payton is such a valuable tool. He knows how to develop quarterbacks. He made Drew Brees. You saw consistently last year, Bo Nix continue to get better. I don't see why we're not going to continue to see him get better this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to progress a lot.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's more of the same of what he did this year. I think when we think about that team, we think about Sean Payton more than we think about the quarterback and what Sean Payton is able to do with young quarterbacks. And I say young loosely because Bo Nix did spend 5 years in college. He's almost 30 years old. He's an old guy. So I don't think there's going to be much more necessarily that he improves on. I think it's more about the team and Sean Payton and what he does offensively with this team.
Charles, we talked a lot this offseason about Caleb Williams and the gift that he got in Ben Johnson coming over as the head coach from Detroit. We know what Ben Johnson was able to do in Detroit with quarterbacks like Jared Goff. Will we see a progression or regression from Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a two-part answer for me because I think there's going to be a regression initially. You know, Ben Johnson comes in with a complex offense, and we saw Jared Goff in this offense. Through his first 5 games, he only completed 60% of his passes. And so we heard about, during training camp that Caleb was going through some struggles with this offense, and Ben Johnson was getting a little bit frustrated. So I think it'll be regression early in the season. But I think over Jared Goff's last, 10 games, he only had 1 turnover and got better in that offense. So I think Caleb Williams will regress early. And then I think it'll be more of the same from last year, so it's kind of middle of the road for me.
He had 3 offensive coordinators by the time last year was over in his first year. Quickly for you.
I agree, more of the same. And you got to realize Caleb had a really good year last year. He threw for 3,500 yards in Chicago. Okay, that has never happened really. So we got to get this out of our head that he had a bad year last year. But there is going to be a learning curve on how to get the football operations in this new system, because there's a lot of verbiage. How is he going to be able to look at the line of scrimmage, communicate a play, communicate a personnel group, see what the defense is giving you? That's a lot of stuff in a Ben Johnson system. But I think he's going to get it down, but there's going to be more of the same in that numbers-wise.
Glaze, you know more about how intense that Ben Johnson system is. What do you have for us on that?
And Ben Johnson also was intense with Caleb Williams. He didn't just come in and try to pop him up. He got after him and after him and after him. It wasn't really until about 2 weeks ago, and I happened to be out there at camp, where Ben Johnson, in a team meeting, said to Caleb Williams, "Caleb, you had yourself a week." And the whole room was like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
There we go. That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, holding him accountable.
That.
He was sacked 68 times last year. I know it's a revamped offensive line, so hopefully get some support right there. And by the way, fun fact, Chicago's never had a 4,000-yard passer. Will this be the year?
It doesn't matter. Get that number out. Let's just get better each week.
I like that. Spoken like a true champion right there.